Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the IRS. Welcome to my YouTube station. It's the home of the 5 minute or less video. I have been doing this for, 50 years. Actually, next month on the 20th, I've been doing this for 50 years. I worked for IRS a dime, 10 years. I've been in private tax defense for 40 years, and I am an expert, obviously, in IRS resolution matters. You can see me in a coat and tie in my office doing all these national interviews. By the way, many of you have come to me because you've seen my interviews. You can see them at 777irs.com, but more importantly, you can go ahead and see my team. So I do these videos for 3 reasons: so you don't get ripped off, you know what the truth is, and I give you insider information from IRS, and you're going to hear honesty coming. There is a lot of crap on the internet, and what I try to do is kind of let you know really what's going on, especially in this space. As a former IRS agent, revenue officer, I taught the offer and compromise program. I used to accept and deny offers. That program, by the way, is the same program as people call the IRS tax debt forgiveness. That program is called the offer. I have worked that program since, 1973. So I know what I'm talking about. So clear everything that you've learned from other people, and just know this: the offer and compromise is the only way you're going to get your tax forgiven by IRS, but it's not for everyone. You should know that it's so many people have ripped people off and scammed people. The IRS has created a pre-qualifier tool. If you go to irs.gov and ask for the IRS pre-qualifier tool, you will go ahead and see it's kind of accurate. So at least it gives you a good idea. And by the way, if you can liquidate all your assets and all your equity and you can pay the tax, you're not eligible for the offer. I've had somebody call me. They owed $100,000 in tax. They had $500,000 equity in their home, and some company wanted to pay them $22,000 to settle their debt. That's a ripoff. You can't settle the debt. If you have the equity to pay IRS off in anything, pension, house, cars, anything, IRS isn't going to settle the debt. It's for people who don't have the money right now, and people usually have to borrow. So that's what this program is for. There's 2 elements of this program. The first element is for IRS looks at is your assets. They want to know what your assets are valued at. Little tip for you, little insider tip: use a wholesale value for your assets. Don't use retail. Get as low value as you possibly can without cheating. You want to just keep it as low as you can, because that's going to go to IRS. The other thing that's important is IRS has what's called a National Standard Program. If you don't know what the National Standard Program is, don't file the offer by yourself. Go out and hire somebody, because you're not going to have a successful offer and compromise. Many people don't tell you about that. IRS is going to dictate to you completely what you are allowed to spend for certain expenses, such as food and clothing, housing and utilities, car payments, and operation of the car. IRS will list on the form what are your actual expenses, and IRS is going to come along and scratch them out and says, no, we're going to use our expenses, and therefore it's going to create a surplus income for you that's eventually going to be multiplied and maybe make your offer out of control. The other thing that you have to know is if you're hunting and you're not using us and you want to use somebody else for your offer, which is a mistake, but people go ahead and do that, make sure you're sending the financial statement to that person so they can look at the form that's going into IRS. Don't let them talk you in or write numbers down or create this other form. Use the form, the IRS 433A OIC. That's the form that IRS is going to use to determine whether you're eligible. If that company doesn't want that form or don't send it to you, don't use them, because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Also, make sure all your tax returns are filed, and you must make sure in the year you're you're filing your offer, you have withholding taken out, and or your estimate payments if you're self-employed are up to date. That is the IRS tax debt forgiveness program. Do not get ripped off. You know what they're looking for. Make sure you're current. All your tax returns are filed. Make sure you use the lowest valuation legally you can, and know the national standards program. I taught the offer and compromise program at IRS. I am a national expert. You can call me for a free consultation. Use whoever you want, but if you do, make sure you send them that form. You know what I need from you? A subscription, because YouTube says I need a subscription. The more subscriptions I get and likes, the more it kind of bumps me up the chart. I would really appreciate it. Do everything I tell you, and you will not get ripped off. Thank you.